Hi, I'm here to talk today about a concept album that was released in 2007 called Year Zero by Nine Inch Nails. Now, this album wasn't just like any other normal album, it was just otherworldly in its terms of its whole marketing scheme because it wasn't just music, it was a website trail as well. It was almost like a game. And how this game was played was when Nine Inch Nails were touring, they'd hide certain things in t-shirts, for instance. The first clue for this whole website game was just hidden in a t-shirt, and it was like there was like little letters that were just sort of blown up on the tour t-shirt, and they spelled like "I'm trying to believe." When you went on this website, it was just little clues of and something that was talking about something called presence. Anyway, um, my aim today is basically do like a sort of review about the album and the topics that it covered. And it's really weird now that like 10 years into the future from when this album um, started its germination. It it's so scary how the parallels and the themes of the album are so sort of relevant today, especially with the Trump administration. And I've got a few notes here, you know. And like I say, I had a full alternate reality game, a list of like 30 websites that painted this world out with all different clues, different characters, events that were happening in this future. And it's very scary how some of them sort of come into being. For instance, there's talk on one website where they're saying the first lady's being impeached. First female president, sorry, was impeached, and it's very close of how Hillary Clinton got in power. Well, almost got in power. Like last year, and it wasn't. It was Trump that got in power, and she didn't even get a chance to get impeached. She was all hacking scandal, but that's like something that's ingrained in the Year Zero universe. And yeah, like I say, I'm going to do a small review about a concept album that's set in the year 2022 and a list of the websites. But there's my introduction. Anyway, the first thing I'm going to do is show you the album, and it's just a complete like puzzle book essentially. Here it is. The hand here that you see, can you see it? That thing there, that is the presence. And this thing is like something that comes out of the sky when people are hallucinating from a drug called parapin. Parapin in the ARG or the game is a chemical that's been dropped into the water, and it's like a mind control um, thing to keep people sort of illicit and calm. And so it's like, look at the back of this, it all works insane. It's when you called this number at the bottom, you get like an answering machine message. It's just insane, absolutely insane. And I'm going to show you the CD in a minute because not all is what it seems with the CD either. But we'll get on to that. Anyway, first track on Year Zero is called Hyperpower, and it's an instrumental where the drums are being played by Josh Freese, who was the touring drummer of Nine Inch Nails at that point. Like Nine Inch Nails is just essentially a one-man band formed by Trent Reznor, and he'll go on like certain tours, and he'll have a touring band with him, and sometimes this changes, but I'd say it's the most consistent one over the past, I'd say, 10 years. But Josh Freese is no longer with him. The same case of Aaron North, who's a lovely guy, and yeah, he's missed. I just hope he deals with a few problems that he was going through not so long ago, actually. So keep strong, Aaron. And yeah, so the first track is called Hyperpower, and I can't be sure about it, but there's a website called Solutions Backwards Initiative in the ARG game, and what they do is they are the company that send the websites back in time, and with quantum physics. So I'm thinking the hyperpower is what sends all this information back, so you get this album essentially, with the information that Year Zero sort of grows from. And that's why I think that's what happens with all the distorted screams um, and the drum level of the military feel about that whole song. It's basically this is the warning essentially. The second track is the beginning to the end, and the beginning of the end. Sorry, and it, like it didn't really catch me at first, but when I first heard it, but there's this sort of kind of like sounds like a fax machine being thrown down the stairs, like this really high pitched whirring towards the end, and then you realise this isn't with teeth in any way, shape, or form, because it has that with teeth sort of kind of like feel when you first hear it. It's very sort of like club rock, and you just hear that distortion and you think, okay, what's this? But the themes, the actual song itself, are very authoritarianism, and yeah, it's just like that's basically the first warning that there's a riot ensuing. And then that gives way to the first single of Year Zero that was released called Survivalism. If you've seen the video, I urge you to. That is packed full of different clues. There's different numbers, and if you type these things into Google, you get like another clue to the Year Zero world and the ARG. And like the whole video is insane. It's brilliant. It's like just cameras, and there's a camera going over a set of cameras, and while the band's playing and other things are happening, there's like a gay couple having sex, and there's people like dropping something called opal, which is a drug in the Year Zero world that you take with your eye, and you drop it, and it's like because your eye sensitivity, and yeah. Anyway, so that's happening on the video, but the song is like keen into like the artist resistance movement, for instance, which is another website, artist resistance. Well, it was a website. I've woke up this morning like realizing that all the original websites have gone, but they're archived on Reddit. It's like a friend showed me the other day, and so yeah, that was a big help this morning. Try and track all that down. But yeah, it's anti-propaganda. It's basically ensuing a riot, and it's just basically telling you to resist and will stay hidden from the government and just keep a low profile. And then you've got the Good Soldier, and in the Year Zero world, there's the 105th Airborne, which are created in 2009, fictionally, of course, after LA gets bombed by a terrorist organization during the Oscars at that time. Trent even led a clue, I think it was on the Spiral website, where he said, oh, God, I wish I could just blow up the Oscars. And everyone thought, oh, a bit rough. And it was a clue to what was happening at that time. And the website leaked in Hollywood in Memoriam, I think it was, and it's that basically website that leads onto the 105th and their creation of the 105th. And then you realise that the 105th have been campaigning in the 2020s in places like Yemen, in Syria, and Chad, and that freaked me out when I first heard it, because like how everything's like fucked up in Syria right now, with Russia and Trump and the Kurds and Turkey, and Turkey's another place that gets invaded by the 105th. It's really weird how like the parallels were so close. Um, The fifth song on it is one of my favorites of the album. It's called Vessel, and it sounds like a depth charge just echoing underwater at you. And it's all about the drug use of either Parapin or Opal. I can't figure it out. First line is like, "I'll let you put it in my mouth," which is always funny. But that is like the drug being taken, and when he takes it, he feels like God. And um, these drugs are like bringing on the hallucination of this dude, Presence. Me, I'm Not is the sixth track. It's very paranoia filling. It's and it sounds like someone who's taken the water or drank in the parapin in the water or done opal. They don't feel like themselves, but at the same time, the government are sort of looking in at them. So it's saying, in a sense, you've got to act a certain way. You're not yourself, essentially. You can't be free under this 2020 administration. Um, then there's Capital G. Now, Capital G is a weird one because it's an anti-authoritarian song. It's very accessible. The drum beat's very easy. There's a brilliant guitar solo, like edging towards the end, which I hope was done by Aaron North, but I think it was done by Trent. And it was going to be released as a single. It was going to be released as a Halo, and for some strange reason, I don't know, like law shit from Interscope or whatever happened, and this is the next thing. Brother got me this, thanks, Liam. And this was released, and it was just released as a vinyl. I don't know if you can get it anywhere online or anything, but dude, this is a cracker of a song. Brilliant. I remember being in Birmingham once, just singing this up on my voice, drunk off my ass. So it's just one of them songs. It's great. The next song, because I need to get my booklet, pretty little booklet. That's the Artist Resistance logo, by the way. Everyone freaked out in 2008 when the slip got uploaded, and there's the track Letting You, and the artwork is this flag but without the star, and everyone freaked out thinking it was Year Zero Part 2. Trolled us, Trent. I'm not going to forgive you for that, man. So yeah, next track. I've got My Violent Heart. Now, this is a weird one, actually, because when this song got leaked, because going back to the tour in 2007, what they used to do is to go in like bathroom stalls, and they'd have a USB pen, and they'd stick a song on it and let the fan leak it, you know. And that's how some of the websites were even discovered. I know Hollywood and Memoriam was discovered. And fun fact, I was at the that gig when they actually found that pen for Hollywood and Memoriam, and that was just when it was germinating. I didn't even hear any of the Zero songs when that tour was happening. I remember someone had said like they played Survivalism in Barcelona that night when I went just the pub that was next door and was having a drink, and I was hoping that song would be played, you know, and it didn't, sadly. There was a lot of like, it was very sort of pre Year Zero stuff. But yeah, anyway, Violent Heart, digress. The song was discovered in a bathroom stall, and when it was leaked, there's a weird sample on the end if you've got the original. And if you put it through something called a spectrograph, you're going through the wave lines. Sort of an image came up of the presence. I remember that. I was freaking out about it because I was thinking, "What the hell's happening? This is deep, you know." And the song is basically the government fining you if you're a resistance member. They'll like bat you in the house and drag you out, and it's very fear sort of mongering in that sense, and in that song. But there's always that sort of kind of like there was a resistance feel, like my hands and knees, we crawl, you cannot stop us all. This resistance won't stop. Then the next track is The Warning, and this can be taken two ways because you've got the warning and the artwork in the book. There's the presence again. And they say it's a warning, it's a sign. But at the same time, you've got the websites that are the warning also, and I think one of the websites, the presence are connected because the quantum theory kind of thing, and it shouldn't be messed with in some sort of way. There's also with the presence, there's the line in the fragile that's called states clouds apart and skies crack open, and God himself will reach his fucking arm through, just push you down, just to hold you down. And like when anyone ever saw the presence like falling out of the sky, everyone was like freaking out over that lyric and tying it together. And there's still some truth to that lyric, and I think the fans are like really onto something there. I don't know, but it's there. Anyway, either the website's the warning or the presence itself is the warning, and yeah, scary shit. Next track is God Given. Now, in the Year Zero world, there's a lot of religious imagery as well. There's a guy in a prison called Judson Correctional Facility in the ARG website or the game. By the way, right, like if you're not going to find these websites or anything like that, you can get all the information on ninwiki.com. That sort of collected all the information off the websites and sort of condensed it down in a way that everyone can understand. So go there if you want your Year Zero breakdown. Just a shout out there. But the song is religious themes and sort of being persecuted in a sense for your own personal beliefs, and it's yeah, but that is like it shares a lot of similarities to Justin Timberlake's "Sexy Back" in terms of tune and how the way it sounds. But yeah, that's like sort of like the disco floor filler of Year Zero. I'd say is God Given. Then Meet Your Master, sort of kind of like the same sort of feel as I'd say, and this is part where like say the album ramps up and it's sort of paranoia filled. Um, the government are always watching you feel, and I say the parallels are insane. Parallels are absolutely insane for what's happening in the US right now. In terms of like a lot of civil liberties are being like dispensed, like the ban on Muslim immigrants, and it's just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And you know, I believe in 2017 we're still here. You know what I mean? Nuts. But yeah, Meet Your Master is about um, the government actually fining you, imprisoning you, and that's more into like the Judson Correctional Facility. There's also the church. I'm sorry, from going back to the last track. Sorry, God Given. There's a website called the Church of Plano, where you see where the state and religion are sort of intertwined together, and their logo is a gun with a cross through it. Oh, Christian soldiers, eh? And it's just yeah, the imagery in it's like crazy, absolutely crazy. Anyway, Meet Your Master, the authority getting you, and the greater good is very low key track, very ambient and very spoken word, and yeah, it reminds me of another track which was released last year by Nine Inch Nails, but I'll get to that point in a moment. Um, called the greater good, and the greater good is this, like I say, very ambient track, spoken word, and it's like how the authorities like sort of say, like you breathe them in, you just let them in unknowingly, you become sort of ambient to it, and each part of you just gets lost under their control. And then you have the Great Destroyer, which is incredible, absolutely incredible. I remember hearing this song and losing my mind, and then I saw it live, and like I said, I've seen Nine Inch Nails 3 times, and the last time I saw them was the best, easily. When they played this song, it just it blew my mind, absolutely blew my mind. And personally, I think the song's about the angry sniper, in the game itself. And Angry Sniper is this reoccurring character in about 3 or 4 different websites that carries out a terrorist attack in a baseball field against a senator. And there's a recording of his attack somewhere, just like an audio recording, and telling him what he's going to do, how cheap bombs can be made, and you hear all this chaos that's happening in this audio recording. I'm going to put like a link to all these recordings at the bottom of this page. I had a website that I made 10 years ago, funnily enough, on a website when Year Zero first came out. Blew my mind, absolutely blew my mind. With all these recordings and some like potential recordings where there's 3 like videos that said they were leaked. And I don't know if they've come from the US Bureau of Morality, which is another thing that's in the game, or websites, whatever you want to call it, the ARG experience. And yeah, that's like, it's nuts. And the greatest story, I think, is the Angry Sniper himself. And oh man, that track, it just, how it fizzles out in the end, and live, it's just an experience. It's incredible. It's very slow starting, very buildy, very buildy, very buildy, and it just hits you with like Aphex Twin style beats, Venetian snare style, where everything is just so fucked up. It's just like, it's almost psychotic, just synthesizer bashing, but it's got this beat and it just stays together. And it's incredible. That's probably one of my favorite tracks on the whole album. There's another version of the truth, and where everything has gone absolutely psychotic, another version of truth is the polar opposite. Like transcendent with the downward spiral, in the same way like Big Man with a Gun went into like a warm place, for instance, and it reminds me of that. And another version of truth is like this ambient piano piece set to like distorted sort of kind of like synth noises in the back and wind noises, and it's almost kind of like the damage has been done now. Everything's been destroyed essentially. And then the song's In This Twilight, and I implore you, if you're on a bus journey and the sun's setting, you just finished work for the day and you're walking home somewhere, just put this track on and you'll just feel it like 10 times more. And it's this beautiful track about the world ending. It's just weird. Watch the sun crawl across the sky a final time, and it's what would you do differently, essentially, if the world was coming to an end? And it's incredible. And then and In This Twilight shares a lot of parallels to, I'd say it's the end of Year Zero essentially, and Zero Sum's the conclusion. But In This Twilight reminds me of the website Hour of Arrival. And Hour of Arrival is this website where there's a senior sort of politician or senator, I don't know, but he's very high up in like in the government at that time, and he's basically writing a letter to his unborn kid saying, "We done goofed apparently, and we fucked up," and the presence is being seen over Hong Kong and New York, all these capital cities, just anywhere that's like a huge city, and there's and he's freaking out, absolutely freaking out, saying it's here. And Our Arrival was the last website in the Year Zero chain, and he's going absolutely insane, absolutely fucking insane. Saying it's here, it's in New York now, it's in Washington, it's been spotted over London, and he's trying to give this kid like a family history essentially if he doesn't make it. And the president's finally spotted in Washington where he's at, and he's just like, he's freaking out and he's saying like, "Oh, this is birthday cake. Make a wish, make a wish, make a wish." And before he types the last "make a wish," it cuts off, and it just signifies that the world's ended. It's done. And yeah, the website messed me up more than the actual songs. It just freaked me out and just insanely freaked me out. And so what is the present? No one knows. And Zero Sum amazes me because it directs you straight to the artwork itself on Zero. I'll show you, right? Remember the CD I showed you? Alright, check this out. 0 and 1 are binary code. All we ever were and all we ever were zeros and ones. And it's basically saying, God forgive us. The whole song is a sort of like, what have we done? Essentially, and like we've killed each other, and this judgment has happened to us, and and it's almost kind of like downbeat gospel. It's really weird, and yeah, Zero Sum, yeah, really messed with me when I first heard it. Anyway, this is my point. There's the artwork. All right, black CD. Right, wrong. Watch. I'm just gonna warm up my hand. This is the original, by the way. I'm not sure if the new ones do this, but I know like the old ones all did this. See my hand on it? Alright, check this out. It's coming. Should have warmed it up somewhere. Yeah. If you warm the CD up, it changes colour. And if you can see here, there's binary code. So it references Zero Sum. Someone deciphered the binary code as well when the song first came out. There's a video somewhere, I think, on YouTube. And that was a website when someone like decrypted the binary of it. It's absolutely insane what they did with this album. And but yeah, favorite tracks on the album I'd say were Survivalism, Gets You Going, Vessel, anything that's pretty loud, In This Twilight, Another Vision of the Truth. Yeah, it's just so good. The whole album is so good of how it just paints this whole world and this whole future. And yeah, absolutely, absolutely insane. Um, it taps into a lot of paranoia of what's happening right now in the world. Just, just, just listen to it, and you'll know. And do your research on this album. It's just absolutely insane. Just go on NinWiki and just look at the videos in the description. It'll just paint out in a much more like better way like than I ever could. And it still lived with me like 10 years on. It's still one of the best albums no one's ever heard. It's incredible. And then yeah, and then they toured the shit out of it, and it was amazing. And there's a single, Survivalism, and this had video on it. Video is up on YouTube. Go look at it. It's brill. And then you had the remix album that came out, which gave you a trial of Ableton, and you could remix all these tracks. And when the Nin website let you do it, it's incredible. They really thought about it, and fans' perspective as well. But yeah, just in conclusion, I'm gonna say, yeah, it was just one hell of an experience, and how some of the events that are in Year Zero were sort of predicted were pretty much bang on. Some others were a bit phasey. But yeah, it just, yeah, still blows me away. It was insane how real it felt as well, and it still had a lasting impression on me now. It's incredible. I can listen to it again and again and again, and it never gets old. It's very hard when I listen to it, and I listen to Downward Spiral. It's hard which one's my favorite. It just blew me away that much, and yeah, it's incredible. But what I will say is this: Year Zero is turning 10, and the relevancy of the record hasn't diminished in any way, shape, or form. And late last year, Trent released Not the Actual Events, and Trent's also said that this year he's got two major releases coming out. I'm hoping one of them is Year Zero Part 2. He's always said like he was going to do a sequel to it. There was going to be a HBO TV series that didn't quite get to where it wanted to go. It got greenlit and then just phased out. I don't know what happened. And yeah, it was just yeah. So Year Zero Two was in the mist, and I think with the 10-year anniversary coming up, and the title of the EP, not the actual events, like it's there, because Year Zero didn't really happen in the order or the way that we wanted to, so it's not the actual events. The title itself, Year Zero, is like a time thing, not the actual events is a time thing, and I just think that the parallels are just there. And I think not the actual events was a precursor to Year Zero Part Two. That's my point. I'm probably going to be wrong, like 80% wrong, but I'd like to be right. And the greater good, how that builds is very similar to the way that Not the Idea Review is a very sort of anti-authoritarian song, in my view, and just it's got this like spoken word thing. It's like an angry greater good in the same way that she's gone away is sort of kind of like a Reptile Part Two from Downward Spiral. And not actual events, like sort of cover as well. She has a lot of similarities with Year Zero and the Fragile. Now, going back to the Fragile, the track "The Wretched" is the clouds will part and the sky cracks open lyric. You've got the parallel there with the presence. Easily, it'll reach his arm through, and what I'm saying is the Nocturnal Adventures shares a lot of similarities with. Oh man, I just figured out something as well. That's why they put dust in the envelopes. Told you not to open it because what's left, we're left when the world ends? Dust. There's nothing else. That makes so much sense to me. Anyway, um, hmm, hmm, can't believe I just figured that out. Anyway, just blew myself away with that. It's insane. Anyway, that's my thought. There's also a tour announcement in Chicago, and the artwork they put up was the survivalism artwork. I think they're just giving us hints. I think this is Year Zero Part 2, 10 years on. Stronger now than it's ever been. More relevant than it's ever been. This is the end time, folks. So yeah, I think we've got a lot of good stuff coming this year in terms of Year Zero. But yeah, in conclusion, one of the best experiences I've ever had. Listening to an album, looking at the artwork. Rob Sheridan and Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross are all freaking geniuses. Listen to the album now. Find out as much as you can about this possible album. And yeah, happy 10 years, Year Zero.